For TraderInsight.com, I'm Adrian Manns, and it's time for your daily dose of the doctor. Let's take a look at what happened this morning in the first hour of trading. We were in our trading room. We called G3 Apparel Group as a Baltimore chop, opening gap, reversal play. This one was down over 17% off the open. All of that happened because of weaker earnings and an outlook that wasn't so rosy. And our first task, of course, as always, was to identify what our entry level would be as well as what the target and the stop loss would be. So in this case, we see the pullback didn't happen until we got several bars into trading. $34.50 was a logical entry on this one. And then in terms of a stop loss, we had right down here below all this volume, $33.96. When this bar triggered, however, stock took off, and we used a move above the high of the session, $35.21 actually, as our entry. Now, by that time, we had seen quite a bit of price activity over the course of the morning, and a logical place to put a stop at that point, right down at $34.94. Clearing this up and expanding a little bit, we see that our first profit objective was $35.71, the second objective $35.92, and the extension $36.14. Good news is it went and hit that extension at $36.14. Bad news is I was so sick of all this activity back in between $35.71 and $35 on the button and how close it came to that $34.94 stop that we took it off at $35.71, and then it immediately popped higher. So still a good trade, 50 cents per share on the exit, and that was the only Baltimore chop that we had trigger on the opening gaps that occurred on Tuesday. From the trading plan, we had a trigger on PNC. PNC, $88.28, got up as high as $88.37. That's, of course, not 50% of the distance to the target. And this one turned around and stopped us out at 88 even. So 28 cent per share loss on that one. And later in the session, just about going into the closing bell, we wound up closing out of PNC. Just about 3 cents here from the profit target. It is the time of day to just close some of these positions out. And as you can see, 88.76 on the second entry on PNC. 50 cent per share gain on G3. And then we had the trades that Rick and the guys did in, first off, Deutsche Bank in the sub 10, we call them. These are actually sub $20 stocks. But in the sub $20 stocks, $14.26 was the entry, and $14.31 was the exit that the guys took on this one in the morning. So $14.31, kind of a shallow exit. Rick did say that he thought it was going to make the 10-cent target, and it did. But unfortunately, that's the way that it goes sometimes. Once he had this bleed back into the range, he was just looking to get out and keep some of his profits on that one. $50 is $50, right? So $14.26 to a $14.31 exit. Remember, the parameters on these sub-10s are very, very tight. NAT, a $10.60 entry called live in the room, and the exit was right here at $10.48. 12 cents per share net on that one. GNW, this was a long at $5.09, immediately turned around and whipsawed out for just a 3-cent loss. So 506 on the exit, 509 on the entry, minus 0.03 net. CSTM was long at $6.33. This one also turned around for a 3-cent stop out, $6.30. TrueCar, TRUE, the guy shorted this one at $9.88 and closed this out at $9.76, just above that blue pivot line. 12 cent per share profit. And finally, GORO, this was a short at $5.48, and Rick called a $5.43 exit on that one. So he was locking in some profits, didn't like the price action on that. That's just a 5 cent per share gain. And Julie called a trap door short side setup in ANF. This was a big gap around the morning. These low dollar stocks, we like to watch these for breakouts in either direction. We call them a trap door when they fall through the trap door at the bottom of the range of the first 5 minutes. And here is what we were looking at. We had a breakdown in this case actually below the 1883 mark in the second bar of trading, and 1841 was the profit target called by Julie in the room. That's another 42 cents per share, and that brings our total to 92 cents per share for the morning. With all that in mind, we had some unfinished business yesterday, and we've definitely got some unfinished business going into the day tomorrow. We had a bunch of setups left over. I'm going to turn it over to Julie, and she is going to give you an idea of what's on deck for Wednesday.
Okay, let's take a look at the unfinished business, both from today and see what happened with that from the day before. So we were looking at several shorts, and a couple of them did play out. This is DRI, Darden Restaurants. I was looking yesterday at this lower close here and to see if it couldn't go lower, and actually it did. So this is on a daily chart, and if I pull up an intraday chart, you can see how it played out. Right off the open, we had a move lower, below the lows of yesterday. It came up to this resistance. That's what we're looking for. So that would trigger your short. You'd have a very tight stop just above this area. And it was a quick scalp for about just over 25 cents. It did pull back, which gave you another opportunity below this level here to go and take it even lower. So after this pullback, it did the same thing and got to that support level. A nice opportunity 3 times during the day to make money off a setup that didn't materialize the day it was on the plan, but we can still make money from all that hard work Adrian put into it. DTE was also really nice. This is a 5-minute. We had this on for today too. It did not go short yesterday as we had planned, and yet today it pulled up to a pivot level, which is something we like to see. There's some resistance. It went above resistance, couldn't get past this pivot, and then just plummeted down. So this one had a nice at least 50-cent opportunity in here, if not closer to 70. But again, we set this up yesterday, we saw what it could do, and this made some nice pivot to pivot to pivot plays. DPLO was also on our list from yesterday. You can see here, it did not go short. It actually was in a consolidation. And here today, again, went up to this pivot, couldn't make it through, came crashing back down through, and we're looking at, again, another 50-cent opportunity, even if you allow for pullback and trailing stops. We have a few possibilities on deck for tomorrow. HRC was a stock we were looking to go short today. Here it is on the daily chart. You can see it really had an inside day, and then we might see with weakness tomorrow a follow through to the short side, so that will be on my list, as well as to the long side an extension in PNC. Again, here's the daily. You can see it actually great follow through from today, as Adrian told you, but there is more upside if this one keeps gaining strength. Could be shooting to the highs from earlier in the summer.
If you have any questions, shoot us an email, adrian@traderinsight.com, julie@traderinsight.com, or rick@traderinsight.com. I hope you had a great trading day today and an even better one on deck for tomorrow. The best trader education anywhere, only from traderinsight.com.